Previously on The Sims 4 Big Brother. An alliance, or maybe a three-way showmance formed between Mark, Akira, and Zoe. Meanwhile, an official showmance began between Joaquin and Angela, and not only did they share their first kiss, but they shared a little bit more too. And they weren't the only ones. But the drama did not stop there, as the dryer erupted into flames outside, causing Knox to completely ignite in fire. Thankfully, Bob was there to help put it out. But when it came to the eviction, Nalani was the first one to be eliminated with a vote of 3-2. However, she wasn't the only one evicted, because the boys also had to evict someone, and Johnny was eliminated with a vote of 4-1. But not without a little prank for Vanessa. And with the house entering level 2, the game mode did change. And this time, instead of boys versus girls, it's Team A versus Team B. And the house guests played in a paint the way to victory competition, which determined who was HOH and who was on Team A. Kaori won with a score of 105, and she is now in charge of Team A. However, Team B resulted in Knox winning the second HOH competition, and he formed Team B. Both of them will nominate one person, and one person will go home at the end of the week. But who will it be? Find out now. Even though the house is no longer split between boys and girls, it seems that the boys are still trying to keep close with one another. They're always trying to find any kind of privacy where they're able to get away and secure this alliance. But it's always pretty tricky to find any alone time in the house. Now, as a quick reminder of the rules for this game mode, now that the house guests are on level 2, Team A versus Team B. They have formed two separate teams based on the results of their previous HOH challenge. Team A consists of Kaori as HOH, Zoe, Joaquin, Rohan, Diego, Akira, and Rashidah. That does mean that our little showmance couple between Joaquin and Angela are separated, as Angela is on Team B. Team B consists of Knox, their HOH, Bob, Dina, Cassandra, Angela, Vanessa, and Mark. Knox is in the HOH room, hanging out in the lap of luxury. Meanwhile, just outside the HOH room, Rashidah and Cassandra start having a little bit of a dance-off on the dance floor. But in the bathroom downstairs, it looks as though Dina is continuing to work out. Since she entered the house, she has done nothing but work out, whether it's here in the gym doing yoga or on the treadmill, or outside doing weights or hitting the punching bag. No matter what, Dina is always breaking a sweat. However, it doesn't look like that's the only thing breaking, as Bob finds out the hard way that the toilet is pranked. And in the middle of having a nice little conversation with her, he is completely splashed with dirty toilet water, and the toilet is now officially broken. But thankfully, Bob immediately gets to work and starts repairing it. However, upstairs, the HOHs are completely unaware of the chaos that's going on downstairs. They have their own bathroom, their own source of food, and even though the two of them don't really seem to be bonding, I'm sure they still are enjoying each other's company. But they're not trying to be too secluded. both Knox and Kaori end up leaving the HOH room and joining everyone else downstairs for dinner. And just for a quick reminder, if you ever want to remember who is on which team, all of that will be listed in the description down below. So make sure to check that out. And, you know, while you're there, why don't you go ahead and like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stupid YouTube stuff while you're at it. Because, like, if you're going to be a beanie weenie, you kind of need to do that. Okay? So, get to it. Outside, it looks as though some of the house guests have actually used the grill for once and not caught it on fire. That's kind of a shock. So they go out there to grab some food, while some of them are hanging out in the pool on this nice, shady, rainy day. However, Rohan is using this time alone to play with the soccer ball. But inside, back at the dining room table, we see that Knox and Bob are bonding quite a bit. The two of them are talking a lot, cracking a few jokes with one another, and they both seem to be in a lot of agreement, and they both seem to have a lot of shared interest. Could the two of them become a final two down the line? I mean, they're even able to joke around with one another and play fight without actually getting mad. And at the other end of the table, we see that our other HOH, Kaori, is bonding with Akira. Akira seems to be a little bit upset, a little bit worried about being nominated, and she assures him that she'll keep a good word in for Knox and to prevent him from being on the block. Will she be able to convince Knox to put him up? We'll have to wait and find out.
Toby Weebster, Haim Zashon Kangaroo.
Meanwhile, immediately after dinner, the party is officially on. Diego has successfully cracked open that keg and the beer is flowing. It seems as though Rashidah might have already had a couple drinks because she's definitely looks like she's feeling it. Diego needs to be pretty careful around that dryer. We've seen what damage it can do, especially since he's already had quite a few drinks and I'm sure his bladder is aching and he needs to use the bathroom. Too bad Zoe is too busy having a conversation with the toilet, and of course that results in him pissing himself right in the middle of the bathroom. And it looks as though he's not the only one, as Dina is also pretty dirty. And the two of them immediately hop in the shower. But I will say, they're not going to be the only ones pissing themselves in this episode. Outside, it looks as though Vanessa narrowly wins a ping pong match between her and HOH Kaori.
Shomayamo.
And after partying through most of the night, it looks as though the house is basically split. Half of them are wanting to take a little bit of a cat nap, while the other ones are still raging. It looks as though upstairs we have Rashidah and Zoe bonding over a game of chess. Apart from random potential showmances in the house, it really looks as though that level 1 twist of boys versus girls really solidified those alliances. And it looks as though the boys are sticking together and the girls are as well. Downstairs, it looks as though dinner has officially wrapped up and most of the house guests are heading to bed. And like I promised, there is more piss, as Angela is stuck outside and with no help going to the toilet, she ends up just doing it right in the middle of the yard. Great, that's what, number 3, 4 in today's episode? Meanwhile, the party still continues on. After Diego has pissed himself and showered it off, he is hitting the keg stand once again, and this time it's with Knox.
Okay.
And that did not go so well, and it actually kind of looks like Diego is actually angry about it. I don't really know why he's so upset, but he storms off, and Knox sees this as a perfect opportunity to have Rashidah try again and see if they can do the keg stand any better. As the day continues on, it looks as though a lot of our house guests are either drunk, pissing themselves like Joaquin is, or slowly heading to bed. But not Knox and Rashidah. The two of them are the only house guests up right now, and they're continuing on partying throughout the day. Maybe they'll end up being a final two since they're having so much quality time together. But one by one, the beds slowly become full, and since no one is nominated yet, no one has to sleep in the have-not room, so everyone has a nice, comfortable bed. But unfortunately, in the Big Brother house, the lights never turn off, so good luck having an actual restful sleep. But it looks as though the power isn't all it's cracked up to be, as Kaori ends up going to bed crying. It looks like the power might be really heavy on her shoulders, as she's not too sure who to nominate from the other team. Meanwhile, Bob is spending some quality alone time in the arcade. I feel like no one is ever in there with anyone else. They're never playing games with anyone. Maybe you have one person watching you play a game, but it seems to be the place in the house where everyone gets away. Meanwhile, downstairs, it looks as though Cassandra is being a good little house guest and is deciding to clean up all that piss from throughout the day. I swear there's probably about 5-6 pee puddles throughout the house that no one has tried to clean up, and I think everyone is going to be pretty thankful of Cassandra for doing it for them. I'm sure that house is smelling a little crazy right now. I also feel like Dina has to smell kind of crazy. I mean, she peed herself earlier, and she barely ever sleeps, barely eats, barely hangs out with anyone. She is on that treadmill. She is continuing to work out. I mean, after she leaves the Big Brother house, she can go straight into the Olympics. But after Cassandra finishes cleaning up the place, it looks as though Kaori is not the only one crying herself to sleep, as Angela ends up getting in bed and shedding a few tears under the covers as well. But that wraps up the day, but that doesn't wrap up this episode, because unfortunately for the house guest, it is time to nominate. Now, when it comes to this twist, Kaori, as being in charge of Team A, can only nominate one house guest from Team B. And Knox, being the HOH from Team B, can only nominate one house guest from Team A. Ooh, it is a mouthful, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. Now, based on relationship statuses between the house guests, that is going to determine who each HOH nominates. And the person that Knox likes the least on Team A and who he will be nominating is Joaquin. Joaquin, you will face eviction. But now it is time for Kaori to nominate. She will only be able to choose one person from Team B. And again, this is all based off of who she is closest to. And Kaori has decided to nominate Dina. I'm sorry, but Dina and Joaquin, the two of you, are now up for eviction. What do you guys think of Joaquin and Dina being up for eviction? And do you think they'll stay there, as the power of veto is still going to come into play? Potentially either of them can be removed from the block and someone else will have to take their place. Find out who wins and if the nominations stay the same in the next episode. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff, so that way you're notified every single time I post a video. And until then, I'll see you guys on Wednesday for the Power of Veto episode. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I love all my beanie weenies. Have a good night. Bye.